want to?
Here, you want to plug in this
I'm just going to
microphone?
introduce Adi Stale.
No, I'm gonna.
Do it?
No, I'm gonna totally do it.
Yeah, it's Adi Stale. Whoever else.
One more time for Randy Berger.
Way to go, Randy! Nice jamming, Randy.
And Barry's just having his smoke break.
Mendoza.
Barry's just getting his
Mendoza.
smoke break.
Is it recording?
Oh, it's Nora Bug.
So give it up for our next and final performer, Adi Stale.
Yeah.
Adi Stale coming up. Give it up for Adi Stale, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Keep it up for Randy. Jamming out. That was awesome. Thank you guys for coming out. You guys, hope you guys are enjoying your night so far. Hope I ended up with a nice exclamation mark. I came out last couple of weeks ago, did a couple of minutes on the open mic. Didn't realize my microphone was still hot walking away. And I realized, I was like, damn, I got fucking cotton mouth and I haven't been smoking weed lately. And so, yeah, I was like, I caught that. And part of that is because of my fasting I've been doing. I gave my lungs some fasting, my tolerance break. It was just too much. The weed's too much and it was just costing too much, being high every day, all day. But yeah, I did a little fasting. I did some, breaking of the lungs, and I used a notepad. Technology's gone up. I'm using now my phone. So it's, bear with me. I am, heading to do so. But thinking of the greenery days, I used to, remember some of you guys, I don't know if you guys do so still, but, have those good old conversations while you're smoking and, kind of talking about those silly ass conversations. Yeah. One of them I remember was talking about poop or different kinds of poop, like the disappearing one where you turn around and it's kind of gone. You're like, what? I just had, I just pitched something and it's not there. So, but another one is, I call it the crime scene. It's, you just look back and like, damn, somebody got shot or something, so I hope that's not too nasty. Or the tugboat, just because, as you guys would know, yeah, it's just too damn big or something. Another one was, I told my wife I'm going to do this, but was the endless wipes one, where where you keep on wiping and it's still, there's still shit. So you're like, what? Yeah, right. And so, but now, I used to be mad at my wife for bringing the wipes to my life, and now my butt thanks her because, yeah, I don't have that problem as I did as my, younger days where, you keep on wiping and you're like, damn, I'm missing this party or I'm missing that chick that's outside or something. So you just pull up your pants and you're like, fuck it. You just sacrifice your drawers for, that for a good of man's cause that you're going to throw it away because, you ain't going to wash it. So, so yeah, speaking of poop, that was another conversation we had about poop is, silly ass words, it's ones that you're all stoned. You're like, man, that sounds so weird and funny, right? Poop, poop. Another one is, especially when you're all ripped, you talk about another word is, related to poop, fart. That's a weird word, fart. Who thought of that? Oh man, that sounds like a fart. Well, what does a fart sound like? Well, there's different ones. This kind of reminded me of the movie, when I was thinking about this, is the Tommy Boy movie. Who's seen the movie Tommy Boy? Right? Classic, right? Remember Rhodes or Roads Roads, or, or another one I thought it was giraffe. That's a funny word, giraffe. But yeah. Any funny words you guys think of on top of your head? Table, yeah, or table, yeah, right? That's definitely a good one. So yeah, that's another thing. How about another thing that you're thinking about when you're stoned? Well, at least I was, or a lot of people, because you know how many people thought of things that already got created, kind of a deal. The lately it's been big one is like Uber or DoorDash, something to eat, especially those drunken nights you wake up and you're like hungover as shit. You're like, damn. The best thing that sounds is like a McDonald's double quarter pounder with fries and a Coke. For some reason, that cures your hangover, right? Well, you're too hungover to go drive, so you're like, oh man, I wish somebody could just come over here and I'll pay them. And you had your homies or your friends and your people that might do that for you, but damn, you're like, damn, I wish, and we pretty much talked about DoorDash and Uber. So I felt that's a good conversation to have. I mentioned my wife earlier about not being happy on some of the materials, but that kind of happens. So let's see. Okay, that was yep. So I talked about back in the denial, five for days. I used to wake up in bed. Bad hunger. Oh, I just talked about that. All right. How long? And let's see. This is the effect of not smoking. I say, and it does affect you. Oh, like I was saying earlier, it's situational. Getting older, things are happening, and so thanks to my wife, if I would have just kept on being those part of your days, I would have been in denial or maybe dead by 30. But, that's why a blessing is happening between I met her. Another thing about getting older is getting healthier, how everything's so expensive these days, where sometimes you're just like, man, how much is a salad? And like, shit, I might as well get that cheeseburger for $5 that's, comes with everything. And so sometimes it's just cheaper and easier to be fat. And so sometimes I'm cool with that. I lost about good 40 pounds, so it's very controversial. I live a controversial life sometimes. But getting healthier also, I realize it's kind of like I said, a double-edged sword, because you get into the point where you're, getting yourself better, mind, body, and soul. You try to exercise, and you get it to the point where you have to stretch, true stretch. Those older folks, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Y'all younger facts, you guys are all like, what are you talking about? You guys are dancing up here. I feel you. But, when you get to a certain age, those little dancing, you're sore. You're like, man, why am I sore? Oh, shit, I was dancing like a fool. I'm not saying you guys were a fool. Trust me. You guys, I love music. I'll be dancing. I was dancing like that. But that's just a sign of good music. You know what I'm saying? You let it all go. Let's see. Marriage. I talked about marriage the other day. We were talking about how simple things. Older folks, you realize if you lived at your house for so long, you start picking at little things that you get mad at. Like I'm talking about like aggravated. Like I want to just, like my wife said.
Fucking dishes.
Yeah, I've been doing them. I've been and cooking and cleaning and cooking and yeah, but yeah, do the dishes a big one. What at our house is our blinds. Okay, we live in an old duplex kind of a deal where even the extension, the plugs are upside down because that's apparently back in the day. So, and so our blinds, I swear, if you look at them, they'll fall. And it's so annoying. So, one big achievement of life when we do the blinds in our dining room, there's multi-level curtains, and we have to grab them all together, okay? And hopefully you pick it up in the right angle, and then when you move the string thing to move the blinds, hopefully none of them falls. And when none falls, oh, me and my wife gives each other high fives. It's like a good day on that. So it's like those little glory things that you got to be happy about. Let's see. All right, that was decent. Okay, I'll keep that one. Let's see. The rings was because it didn't. Oh, speaking of my wife, oh my goodness. So her and my grandmother-in-law. That's one of the things I told her. Hey, man, everything's material. So, babe, you live with me. We're married, so I'm using it. So she was helping clean my grandma's clothes and whatnot. And grandma was tripping about a shirt that was wrinkled because it wasn't hung properly or fast enough, right? And my I mentioned last 2 weeks ago that my wife, she is a suburban gangster. Okay, she is, she's 5'2" with a good hair bun day, and she is about it. And so one, like I said, she was doing some folding and closing with my grandma-in-law, and she come across a shirt. It was a Christmas shirt. It was wrinkled, and my grandma-in-law started throwing a fit, right? And my wife said, nope. You know what? She said, she said, nope, it gets folded and it's going to be put in a box because it's a Christmas shirt. So we'll worry about it next season. And so that is, pretty fun things. Like I said, grandma and her are like, I put it right here, two peas in a pause. And I'm doing like triple of them because they're both short and loud. They're both 5'2" around with a good hair day. And then my wife is a little too much like her, which, yeah, it's a little scary. But the cool thing is she be knowing about it, and so she's very observant of that. So luckily there is some hope. And so there is some hope with me. I promise I'll get better. So I thank you guys for coming out. I wish I did have I do have more materials like, other stupid things that we were thinking about when we were stoned, but that could be saved for another day. But thanks guys for coming out. You guys have a blessed night. Take it easy, guys. Thank you guys.